The atmosphere around you is changing. The frequencies of the unseen are shifting, and your name is resonating in ways the world cannot perceive. They asked for it, and now authority has been placed in your hands. The silence that once restrained your voice is over. The energy of truth, clarity, and protection that God has been cultivating within you is ready for release. This is the moment where hesitation must end and action aligned with God's order must begin. The world may not be aware yet, but the vibrations of your presence are already rewriting what is happening around you. Blue power is not a human invention. It is the manifestation of divine influence flowing through calm and clarity. This is not a call to force or aggression. The calm within you, the clarity, the discernment, the quiet confidence is your spiritual weapon. It shields you from attacks, centers your soul, and commands situations to align with God's will. When others rush in panic or confusion, your steady heart and precise action become the instrument through which heaven's order operates. It is this influence exercised with grace that moves mountains, silences opposition, and establishes the principles of truth in every area of your life. Exodus 24 verse 10 reminds us that the presence of God is a place of wonder and power, a foundation of sapphire under his feet. Your role is not different. Your power is rare, radiant, and rooted in clarity. God has prepared you through seasons of restraint, testing, and discernment. Every moment of stillness, every act of waiting, every period where patience seemed burdensome was not wasted. These were exercises in spiritual maturity, sharpening your ability to wield authority without anger or impulsiveness. Blue power is the vibration of justice, peace, and precision. It is the enforcement of God's will through your alignment with him. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and this protection is activated when you stand rooted in the calm and clarity God has provided. Your presence is not passive. It shifts the atmosphere, brings order, and communicates to the unseen forces that alignment with truth is non-negotiable. This is not a time for explanations or defenses. This is a season of revelation and manifestation. Your obedience, your courage, and your willingness to operate within the authority God has granted you are the catalysts for change. John 14 verse 27 reminds you that peace is your inheritance, a power that surpasses chaos. This peace is not submission to weakness. It is the armor and instrument of victory. You were not created to blend in or follow the patterns of the world. You were called to stand to balance and to bring what only you can bring: clarity, protection, and the enforcement of truth where confusion has prevailed. The signs have been clear, the training has been rigorous, and the readiness has been tested. Now the energy of God's power flows through you, waiting for your response. You are positioned to act with precision, to release the restraint that has long held you back, and to let the atmosphere bend to the order that truth demands. The moment for hesitation is over. Your voice, your calm, your clarity, and your influence are the tools for what was always meant to be accomplished through you. The world has asked for this, and the time has arrived. Stand firm. Speak with confidence. Act with the wisdom and calm that God has cultivated in you. Your authority is your permission. Your moment is here. Friend, God is orchestrating the unseen elements around you, fine-tuning your soul to resonate with truth, authority, and clarity. This isn't just preparation. It's a revelation of who you are meant to be when the world finally sees your influence. Habakkuk 2 verse 20 reminds us that the Lord inhabits his holy temple, and all the earth is called to stillness before him. That stillness isn't passive, it's an active alignment with the ultimate source of order and power. In recent seasons you may have felt separated, isolated, or even misunderstood. The quiet around you isn't emptiness, it's purpose. It's God's way of disconnecting you from distractions that scramble your spiritual reception. Noise, whether from the world or even from misguided counsel, can distort the clarity that God intends for you. Psalm 46 verse 10 beckons you to be still and know that I am God. That instruction is not a suggestion, it is a positioning. In the calm, your mind can tune into the subtle signals, the gentle currents that carry instructions for breakthrough. When your frequency aligns with His, every decision becomes sharper, every word carries weight, and every action reflects authority beyond human comprehension. True alignment always begins with disconnection. God detaches you from what is familiar not to punish but to purify. He separates what can corrupt your energy from what is meant to amplify it. The chaos of the world is not equipped to replicate divine signals. The vibration of His truth requires purity. Sin, doubt, and unresolved conflict interfere with the reception. Just as a musical instrument must be tuned before the symphony begins, your heart and mind must synchronize with God's tone before the breakthrough unfolds. 1 Kings 19 verse 12 demonstrates that divine communication often comes after the earthquake, the wind and the fire in the gentle whisper. That whisper is subtle, but it carries all the guidance you will need for your next steps. This quiet you feel is a sacred classroom. It teaches patience, sharpens discernment, and removes unnecessary attachments. What others might interpret as detachment or withdrawal is actually divine redirection. Your energy, your focus, and your very presence are being adjusted to harmonize with the plan God has orchestrated for your life. This isn't a season of waiting for signs or confirmations, it is an active tuning. Every moment of attentiveness is preparing you to move with precision, clarity, and unstoppable impact. The alignment you are receiving now produces visible influence, not merely internal confidence. Your presence begins to shape the atmosphere wherever you go, influencing outcomes and commanding respect from both seen and unseen forces. Clarity is a prelude to empowerment. As your frequency synchronizes, decisions that once seemed overwhelming will become intuitive. Influence once postponed now flows naturally through you, because the preparation has removed the noise and resistance that previously diluted it. Silence, stillness, and subtlety are the conditions for revelation. When you operate in this alignment, your words carry weight, your actions produce change, and your presence reflects the wisdom and calm of one trained by the Creator Himself. You are not merely a participant in this season, you are the chosen instrument through which truth, order, and power will manifest in ways the world cannot ignore. Heaven doesn't shout, it harmonizes. The quiet you perceive is the tuning fork of authority, preparing you for everything that is coming. This is your calibration, your moment of readiness. The world is waiting, but it cannot yet perceive the shifts occurring within you. You are being positioned to lead, to influence, and to act with unmatched precision. Your alignment has begun. Your frequency is being set. The voice of God is guiding your next steps, and everything around you will respond when you step into this resonance. Beloved, you've felt it before. The calm that settles over you when chaos erupts, the composure that allows you to navigate storms without panic. That isn't merely your temperament. That is your mantle, the spiritual covering that distinguishes the chosen from the distracted. This is blue power at work, the force that aligns your heart, mind, and presence with truth and order. Numbers 15 verse 38 to 39 calls attention to the blue cord on the corners of garments, a reminder of God's instructions and covenant. That cord is not decoration, it is a symbol of authority, a visible mark of alignment with purpose and obedience. Your calm is not passive, it is active preparation, a spiritual weapon that establishes order where confusion once reigned. This power is not flashy, it doesn't announce itself with noise. It moves quietly, subtly, influencing every interaction and situation. Ezekiel 1 verse 26 describes a throne of sapphire above the expanse, reflecting the purity, strength, and authority that come from alignment with God's order. Similarly, the blue mantle is a sign of divine revelation. It pierces lies without conflict, corrects without confrontation, and restores balance without compromise. Those who wear this mantle are called to act as stewards of peace, to maintain clarity amid turbulence, and to radiate confidence that stems from alignment rather than circumstance. This isn't about personal achievement, it's about representing God's order on earth, demonstrating the calm that precedes transformation. The symbolism of this color is deeply biblical. It represents heaven, clarity, and purity of intention. It is truth in action, demonstrating that authority does not require aggression to be effective. The chosen bear it as a sign of their role to counter deception with clarity, to replace fear with calmness, and to lead by the quiet weight of their presence. Colossians 3 verse 15 instructs us to let the peace of Christ rule in our hearts. That peace is not negotiable. It is the foundation of every spiritual decision and the source of every act of influence. When your heart is ruled by this peace, storms do not dictate your response. They merely serve as reminders that your alignment carries power, that your posture itself shifts environments. Those who understand this anointing recognize that it is heaven's rhythm expressed through character. It aligns the mind with truth and the heart with the call of justice and restoration. This is the mantle that equips you to navigate situations where human strength would fail. You've already been practicing it through restraint, through measured speech, and through the calm exertion of authority without visible fanfare. Each moment of self-control, every act of patient endurance has been building your capacity to operate under this mantle. The world may see silence. God sees strategy. What looks like waiting is actually preparation. What seems like inactivity is actually activation. Blue power is also about presence. Your physical posture, your spiritual posture, and your mental focus all broadcast signals that influence outcomes. Those who are aligned with this force bring coherence to confusion, clarity to complexity, and authority to chaos. They are not reacting impulsively, but responding with discernment, precision, and stability. This isn't human ability, it is heaven's order flowing through the vessel, manifesting as calm, unwavering influence. It is the crown for those who walk in silence and power simultaneously. The mantle of blue is not a suggestion. It is your assigned covering, the emblem of a life calibrated to operate above turmoil, to lead without compromising truth, and to serve without losing composure. It is the visible proof that you have conquered the inner storms and are now prepared to influence the outer ones. Your presence shifts atmospheres, and your calm commands attention. This is your season of operation, your moment to stand fully aligned, and your time to demonstrate that heaven's order is more powerful than earth's chaos. Have you ever sensed the tension in a room simply because you were present, calm and composed? Some have mistaken it for arrogance, others for detachment. Yet the truth is far more profound. Darkness cannot decipher what is anchored in truth, peace and divine alignment. Your energy vibrates on a frequency that chaos cannot interpret, and that is precisely why the enemy struggles to navigate your influence. Romans 16 verse 20 declares that the God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. This is not metaphorical. It is spiritual reality. When your calm is deliberate and your focus is unwavering, forces opposed to order find themselves disoriented and powerless. Peace has always been provocative to those steeped in confusion. The addiction to chaos creates discomfort when confronted by someone who operates in clarity. Your stillness is more than meditation, it is spiritual resistance. The world often reads calm as weakness, yet it is the very element that exposes deception, nullifies manipulation, and commands respect. When Matthew 10 verse 16 reminds us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, it is a call to harness discernment while maintaining integrity. The wisdom you carry allows you to navigate situations with strategic awareness, to recognize motives hidden in plain sight, and to neutralize attacks that aim to derail your destiny. Calmness does not mean passivity. It signals authority, a readiness that the enemy cannot manipulate. Every encounter you face is amplified by your refusal to react impulsively. Darkness thrives in emotional response, yet your unshakable poise interrupts its strategy. Your serenity is not a mere personal blessing. It is a spiritual tool designed to silence warfare and shift the dynamics around you. Isaiah 26 verse 3 assures that those whose minds are steadfast are kept in perfect peace. That peace functions like an invisible shield, repelling confusion, deflecting slander, and creating a zone of clarity where deception cannot penetrate. Each moment of deliberate calmness weakens the power of opposition and strengthens your position in every realm of influence, visible and invisible. Discernment is inseparable from this tranquility. As you maintain a clear mind and a steady heart, hidden motives become visible. You begin to see agendas, manipulations, and misalignments before they materialize. Your ability to observe without reacting confounds darkness and frustrates those who seek to destabilize you. Every time you choose reflection over retaliation, you convert potential conflict into strategic advantage. Peace is not an absence of action. It is intentional positioning. It communicates confidence, understanding, and divine order without the need for explanation or argument. Your presence alone becomes testimony, authority, and prophetic alignment. There is a subtle power in being misunderstood. When others misread your calm as pride, it is a confirmation that your energy operates beyond their comprehension. The more they attempt to provoke, mislabel, or discredit you, the more visible your stability becomes. Your tranquility disarms projections of fear, doubt, and manipulation. The enemy's inability to manipulate or control you demonstrates the effectiveness of your alignment. Each peaceful response, each measured step, and each silent endurance builds momentum toward fulfillment of the purposes God has placed within you. The prophetic nature of this peace cannot be overstated. Your quiet composure acts as a protest against disorder, a declaration that truth and clarity will prevail, and a demonstration of influence that transcends human reaction. The more the world resists your calm, the more your impact grows. You no longer need to defend, explain, or justify yourself. Silence has become your strategy, and your peace has become your prophetic statement. Every misunderstanding, every misjudgment, every attempt to provoke becomes the canvas on which God magnifies your light. Peace carries both protection and weight. It is not passive. It is a force that crushes opposition and establishes alignment with purpose. You are no longer a participant in mere reaction. You are a vessel of intentional tranquility. Darkness cannot read your rhythm, your focus, or your resolve. Your calm is intentional. Your stillness is strategic, and your presence is powerful. You walk in a frequency that chaos cannot disrupt. The more they misunderstand, the more visible God's influence becomes in you. Your peace is your protest, your discernment, your sword, and your stability, your declaration. Every misinterpretation confirms the weight of your impact and the inevitability of God's order prevailing. Every time you feel the tension of unseen opposition, recognize it as confirmation that God's protective system is at work. Every whispered threat, every scheme that seems to edge too close bounces off an invisible shield you may not even feel yet. It functions with absolute precision. This is not coincidence, and it is not luck. It is a reflection of spiritual authority actively defending what belongs to you. Psalm 91 verse 4 captures this truth. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. The imagery is vivid. Protection is both intimate and expansive, personal and unbreakable. You are not merely surviving what appears as chaos, is testing nothing but the unshakable position God has already granted you. The enemy often tries to intimidate those on assignment, but when God surrounds you, the tactics lose their sting. Your very presence becomes a warning that certain energies cannot breach. Darkness may plot, but it cannot penetrate the zones of authority God has placed around you. You may notice how situations that once overwhelmed others barely touch you. This is not pride, it is the evidence of alignment. The attacks only confirm that you are standing where elevation meets divine decree. 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 3 assures you, "The Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one." The promise is precise. The one who calls you has already fortified your path. Your spiritual defense system operates quietly. It does not boast. It does not need your effort to enforce it. The unseen protection flows through your obedience to God's voice, your alignment with truth, and your refusal to engage in reactive aggression. When you maintain calm in the midst of chaos, the enemy realizes that the battles he expects are not available to him. Your serenity itself becomes a barrier. You are a fortress not because of human strength, but because of heaven's architecture of protection layered over your life. Every attack you've endured and survived without compromise signals that God's justice is in motion, unseen, yet unstoppable. The principle is simple. Spiritual authority reflects negative energy back to its source. Every insult, every scheme, every attempt at manipulation or intimidation hits an invisible firewall that God established long before you even knew the threat existed. Isaiah 59 verse 19 states it plainly. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard. The standard is the measure of your protection. It is the declaration that you are under divine supervision, and that no plan conceived in darkness can succeed against what God has ordained. The challenge is not to fight it, is to trust and rise above. By keeping your focus on God's guidance, your heart remains calm, your mind remains sharp, and your actions remain aligned with His intent. The opposition you face only becomes fuel for your elevation. Understand this truth deeply. You were never the target of the enemy. The opposition was never meant to harm you. It was meant to reveal your capacity to operate under God's protection. Every assault, every seeming breach of peace, is a demonstration that God's system works in real time. The tests are real, but you are already secured. This is the quiet victory that speaks volumes. Your obedience, your focus, and your alignment are the instruments through which this protection manifests. Rise with confidence, knowing that you do not fight back. You transcend. Darkness cannot negotiate with what God has firmly established. The authority flowing through your life repels and reflects, safeguards and sustains. You are positioned above fear, above disruption, above any force that seeks to derail your mission. Your defense system is active, unyielding, and relentless. Every shadow that tried to loom over you only highlights the brilliance of the protection enveloping you. Trust it, stand in it, and live boldly, because God's shield is your unshakable reality. Friend, they mistook your stillness for hesitation. Yet what they perceived as weakness was actually divine strategy. There is a precision in restraint that the world rarely understands. When you pause, when you refrain from reacting, you are demonstrating a strength that cannot be measured by words or displays of power. God is refining you through these moments, shaping your capacity to carry authority with wisdom and maturity. Every instance of quiet observation, every deliberate restraint is a step toward mastering the unseen forces at work around you. The storms may rage, the provocations may rise, but your calm is not empty. It is preparation. True maturity begins where impatience ends. The noise around you often seeks to pull you into reaction, to measure your worth by immediate response. Yet God is training you in the discipline of measured power. Your restraint, your careful listening, your patience. These are not signs of inactivity, but of strategy. The enemy cannot penetrate a vessel that has learned to endure with composure. Your ability to remain unshaken while chaos swirls is proof that your strength is rooted beyond human understanding. As Exodus 14 verse 14 reminds you, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This is not a suggestion. It is an invitation to trust that God's timing surpasses your impulses. Every word you withhold carries weight. Proverbs 17 verse 27 teaches, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint." Your measured responses reveal wisdom. Your controlled demeanor signals that you are aligned with something greater than immediate circumstances. The enemy often tests through provocation, seeking to provoke rash reactions, but your patience transforms confrontation into testimony. By holding back what you might naturally express, you demonstrate discernment that cannot be faked or taught in haste. You are learning that impact is not always in speech. Sometimes the loudest declaration is the calm that refuses to escalate. Your stillness also safeguards the flow of purpose. Psalm 37 verse 7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him." In those moments when the world expects noise, your patience becomes a shield and a channel. Every distraction that could sway you only strengthens your inner alignment when you refuse to engage in reactive behavior. The tests you face in quiet are actually opportunities for growth in authority. Heaven orchestrates situations that demand restraint precisely to cultivate power that is sustainable, not fleeting. When you respond with peace instead of agitation, you demonstrate mastery over circumstance and over the energies that seek to derail your assignment. It is not simply about staying calm. It is about learning to carry responsibility without reliance on immediate recognition or reaction. Your quiet endurance allows God's intervention to operate fully without obstruction from human impulses. Each time you choose peace over noise, patience over impatience, reflection over reaction, you are practicing the kind of leadership that transforms environments and shifts outcomes. You are becoming a vessel through which authority, protection, and resolution flow naturally. The enemy may have tried to define your stillness as passivity, but in reality, it is your most potent form of engagement. Remember, restraint is never weakness. It is spiritual discipline. It is preparation for victory in public forged in private. Every moment of measured calm is a rehearsal for triumph, a demonstration that you are equipped to navigate trials with composure and confidence. The quiet you maintain speaks louder than any shout could. Every act of patience, every moment of intentional control is an echo of divine wisdom in motion. Your calm is strategic, your restraint is powerful, and your alignment with God ensures that every storm that rises only magnifies your authority. The world misunderstands your composure, but God does not. The pause you practice is the precursor to breakthrough. The restraint you maintain is your hidden weapon. Every moment you embrace patience, every second you choose composure over impulse, you are speaking heaven's loudest language. You are not inactive. You are being refined, positioned, and strengthened. The quiet was your weapon all along. After seasons of stillness, there comes a moment when quiet transforms into authority. That moment is not accidental. It is ordained, calibrated, and exact. There is a profound difference between speaking from impulse and speaking because God has commanded your words to carry weight. Every prophet and every vessel of purpose endures preparation before their voice is released. It is in the restraint, the waiting, and the attentiveness that power accumulates. What may have seemed like delay was actually refinement, a training ground for clarity, discernment, and precision. Your mouth is not merely an instrument, it is a conduit, and God touches it when it is ready to carry his intention without distortion. Jeremiah 1 verse 9 captures this moment perfectly. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, "I have put my words in your mouth." This is not metaphor. This is the activation of authority through divine instruction. The period of quiet is not a void. It is a workshop for potency. God does not release words until he knows that the vessel is prepared to declare truth that aligns with his will. There is no room for error when the Spirit directs the mouth. Your preparation, your restraint, your attentiveness all converge to produce declarations that cannot be resisted or ignored. The enemy cannot anticipate these words because they are birthed from alignment, not impulse. Your voice, once activated, does more than communicate. It enforces, transforms, and realigns atmospheres according to God's intention. Isaiah 55 verse 11 reminds us, "So is my word that goes out from my mouth, it will not return to me empty." Each declaration carries momentum, and every syllable becomes law in the realm of the unseen. Speaking under divine command is an act of precision. It is neither reaction nor speculation. It is revelation meeting action. There is a resonance to words that are released at the appointed time. When God authorizes what you say, shifts dynamics instantly. The atmosphere bends, situations adjust, and what was previously stagnant begins to respond. Your voice becomes a standard, a point of alignment for those around you and a mirror of God's will. Amos 3 verse 8 emphasizes this principle. The lion has roared, who will not fear? The sovereign Lord has spoken, who can but prophesy? The weight of heaven rests on your declaration. The lion's roar is not casual. It commands attention, transforms behavior, and produces consequences. Your words, when God speaks through you, have that same energy. This is why the periods of quiet are essential. They protect the integrity of your message. They ensure that when you speak, it is impossible to mistake your influence for opinion, your conviction for pride, or your counsel for mere insight. Silence is the sanctifier that makes your words sacred. The restraint you have practiced has shaped your voice into a vessel capable of carrying the fullness of God's will without contamination from fear, frustration, or impatience. What you are about to release is not only heard, it is recognized by the unseen realms and acknowledged by creation itself. Every declaration made under this instruction has the potential to establish order, shift destiny, and restore what has been broken. Your words are not temporary, they have lasting influence. The alignment between preparation and proclamation ensures that what you speak carries weight beyond your understanding, yet perfectly aligned with God's purposes. This is the culmination of preparation, the transition from listening to acting, from restraint to proclamation, from potential to manifestation. You no longer speak to be noticed, you speak to enforce intention. Your mouth is now a channel of truth, clarity, and influence. What was built in stillness becomes realized in proclamation. The weight of heaven is in your articulation, and the atmosphere cannot resist what God has authorized. Your silence has consecrated your voice. Every pause, every moment of waiting has prepared you for this precise expression of impact. When you speak, it is not just heard, it establishes it, aligns it, moves the invisible forces into obedience. The words you release today are sacred because they are commanded. The energy that rises from your declaration reverberates with purpose. Creation leans forward. The opposition trembles. The alignment of God's instruction and your voice is unstoppable. Your mouth is no longer a personal instrument. It is a vehicle for divine will, a beacon of truth, and a call that cannot be ignored. As you enter a room, it doesn't take words or fanfare to announce your authority. There is a resonance that precedes speech, a subtle yet undeniable shift that occurs when someone aligned with God's purpose steps into a space. The atmosphere itself responds, bending and adjusting to the frequency of obedience, peace, and divine clarity that you carry. This is not a human impression, it is a spiritual reality. Rooms, environments, and even situations become aware of the presence of those who walk in step with God's intention. Matthew 5 verse 14 illuminates this truth. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Your alignment and integrity cannot be masked. Your influence is immediate whether people recognize it or not. Authority is rarely demonstrated through volume or force. It manifests through the calm, measured confidence of one who knows they have been equipped for a purpose greater than themselves. Your presence is not a reaction to circumstance. It is a declaration of order and equilibrium. God has given you a spiritual fragrance that permeates wherever you go. 2 Corinthians 2 verse 15 reminds us, "We are to God the pleasing aroma of Christ." This aroma is subtle but powerful, reaching hearts, softening tension, and creating environments where peace can prevail. You do not need to chase recognition. The environment itself acknowledges the authority you carry. The measure of influence is not in the noise you make, but in the calm you maintain. God's presence within you acts as a thermostat rather than a thermometer. You are not being swayed by disorder. Instead, you are setting the standard for how situations resolve. Conflict yields when met with divine calm. Confusion dissipates when one aligned with God stands unwavering. Spiritual maturity is often recognized through these unseen effects. The shift that occurs before a word is spoken, the subtle correction of imbalance, the unexpected alignment of circumstances that defies human logic. Every place you enter has the potential to become sacred simply because God walks in with you. Your influence is cumulative. Every step you take, every posture of calm, every intentional act of alignment strengthens the atmosphere around you. Even when people fail to notice, heaven is moving, establishing order and positioning others for revelation. Acts 5 verse 15 describes this in action. People brought the sick into the streets so that at least Peter's shadow might fall on some of them. It was not the crowd's clamor, but the anointing of God's chosen that brought transformation. Your proximity to God carries similar potential. The spiritual climate responds whether through provision, insight, or breakthrough. This influence is not accidental. It is earned through discipline, obedience, and the cultivation of a heart tuned to God's cadence. Understand this. The environments you inhabit are waiting for leadership that transcends human strategy. Your peace becomes a catalyst, turning tension into clarity, fear into confidence, and disorder into harmony. Each location you occupy has an unseen field that reacts to your alignment. Your life is like a beacon, a city set on a hill, illuminating unseen realms and guiding the natural and spiritual toward righteousness. The shift begins in your heart and extends outward, touching everything within reach. Every moment, every interaction, and every room you enter is impacted by the authority you carry. This is not arrogance, it is recognition of the responsibility God has entrusted to you. Your influence is a living testament that peace, composure, and divine alignment are far more effective than any words shouted in haste. Even shadows of your life, like the shadow that passed over the sick in Acts, can be vessels of transformation. When you understand the weight of your influence, the atmosphere no longer dictates your behavior, you dictate the atmosphere. You don't follow energy, you set it. When you move with God's alignment, every conflict softens, every tension resolves, and every space becomes a point of holy equilibrium. Heaven establishes balance through you because you are a carrier of authority, peace, and composure. Spiritual maturity manifests in your ability to shift environments simply by your alignment. The world may not always understand, but it will always respond. You are not reacting to circumstances, you are activating the environment with a touch of God's order, a fragrance of purpose, and a presence that cannot be ignored. You see, they thought they could destabilize you, unsettle your mind, or cloud your purpose. But in reality, every attempt only illuminated the truth. Every plan designed in secrecy, every whisper meant to undermine you, served as a platform for divine revelation. Opposition does not exist to defeat the chosen. It exists to reveal what is already settled in God's plan. Genesis 50 verse 20 reminds us of this eternal principle: you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Your adversaries may have believed they were crafting defeat, but their schemes became the very instruments of confirmation. Every attack against you carries a hidden permission, a permission from God to expose motives, to clarify intentions, and to demonstrate the alignment of your life with His order. The strategies of darkness cannot hide forever. Truth, when paired with divine illumination, reveals itself without effort. Your composure, your calm in the face of provocation, forces deception into the light. Where others react impulsively, you respond with restraint, turning situations meant for chaos into testimonies of patience, wisdom, and insight. The weight of your presence alone unmasks falsehoods that words cannot reach. Psalm 23 verse 5 reflects this protective principle. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Every act of hostility only serves to confirm that your path is ordained and that your standing is protected. The exposures you witness are not vindictive outcomes, they are divine proof of God's timing and sovereignty. He does not need retaliation to confirm your authority. Revelation is sufficient. Every hidden agenda, every veiled attempt at sabotage unravels when faced with the clarity of truth and the peace that comes from alignment with God's order. The enemy operates in shadows, but shadows cannot persist in the presence of light. Your unwavering faith, your composure under scrutiny, becomes the magnifying glass through which deception is revealed. Luke 12 verse 2 declares, "There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed. No plan of darkness remains invisible indefinitely. God ensures that every hidden tactic is illuminated for His glory." Your enemy's hate and opposition, while painful, are indicators that you are walking a path of significance. The more resistance you encounter, the more evident your alignment with God's purpose becomes. Their actions intended to derail or diminish serve instead to highlight the sacred assignment you carry. Every conflict, every confrontation becomes an unwitting declaration of your calling and the righteousness that accompanies it. You do not need to fight for recognition. Their exposure is sufficient. The universe itself, guided by God's authority, ensures that truth is unveiled. God transforms every trap into testimony. What appeared threatening becomes the stage for your elevation. Your adversaries' missteps and miscalculations highlight your integrity and the wisdom that accompanies discernment. They reveal what is true about your character, your calling, and your perseverance. This exposure is not about shaming others, it is about God confirming you. Their plots, instead of undermining you, underscore your assignment and affirm that you are moving in alignment with His plan. Opposition never truly succeeds against the chosen because the one who guards you does not rely on your retaliation. The enemies of peace self-destruct under the weight of divine order. Their hidden agendas, once secret, are now visible. Their strategies, once threatening, are powerless in the face of composure and truth. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. The unfolding of revelation itself serves as validation. Every plot that formed against you only confirms what is already established: your calling, your assignment, and your authority. Do not waste energy defending your character. Truth is doing it on your behalf. Every attempt to harm you, every whisper, every scheme, has only set the stage for confirmation, elevation, and the manifestation of God's plan in your life. Their exposure is God's method of protection and advancement. As you move forward, remember that opposition is temporary, revelation is permanent, and God's order cannot be thwarted. The exposure of those who oppose you is the proof of the alignment and the next level that awaits your obedience. When peace stands firm, it carries a force that shakes every hidden scheme. You've experienced moments where stillness seemed passive, yet that calm was the very power that repelled darkness. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. Every storm sent to derail you bounced back as if the hand that struck was caught by unseen restraint. What looks quiet to the world is actually a battlefield under control. Your composure has become a signal that something higher is orchestrating outcomes in your favor, and the pressure applied by opposition only reveals the weight of the authority you carry. Every attempt to destabilize you becomes a mirror reflecting the schemes of the enemy. God allows these challenges not to punish, but to demonstrate the strength embedded in patience and steadfastness. In these moments, the unseen responds, correcting deception without human effort. You do not have to shout, argue, or prove yourself. The one who watches over your life ensures that every attack faces its appropriate end, often in ways that humans cannot perceive. What appears as delay is actually precise calibration, positioning every element for maximum effect. Deuteronomy 32 verse 35 reminds us, "Vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord." You are not called to revenge, you are called to trust, and the outcomes will testify on your behalf. The authority you carry is not loud or boisterous. It is calm, measured, and unshakable. It doesn't demand attention. It commands respect through consistency. Every act of endurance, every refusal to retaliate impulsively accumulates power. Psalm 97 verse 3 declares, "Fire goes before him and consumes his foes on every side." While the word mentions fire, the principle is that of an unstoppable force moving quietly through heaven's order. Your integrity and steadfastness ensure that every opposition collapses at its appointed time. The same principle applies to your life. You maintain your peace, and what rises against you is systematically dismantled. Opposition is exposed under this quiet influence. Lies unravel, manipulation becomes obvious, and those who plotted in darkness reveal their intentions in the light of your steadfastness. The Spirit of truth does its work not by human effort, but through the presence of calm, unwavering faith. Isaiah 30 verse 27 says, "See, the name of the Lord comes from afar, with burning anger and dense clouds of smoke." Again, this illustrates that heavenly correction moves in ways beyond human comprehension. When you remain in peace, the systems of deception and oppression are met with precise response. You become a vessel through which wrongs are corrected and order restored. Your endurance is not passive. It invites resolution. Every challenge allowed in your life serves as a platform for triumph. You don't strike first yet. The results of your steadfastness act as evidence that God handles the affairs you cannot see. You're not called to enforce outcomes by your own hands. You are called to maintain clarity, uphold integrity, and let the effects of obedience ripple through circumstances. Those who oppose you unwittingly activate their own exposure, confirming the influence you bear and the righteousness of the position you occupy. Peace is the armor. Measured correction is the outcome. You are clothed in strength that balances grace with power. Each moment of restraint strengthens your influence. Every unprovoked silence holds weight, and every refusal to react impulsively allows alignment with what heaven has ordained. This is the ultimate display of balance, strength expressed without aggression, influence exercised without compromise, and impact established through patient constancy. Your ability to remain unshaken signals to the unseen and seen realms alike that your path is guarded and your victory assured. You are clothed in calm, but charged with impact. You do not have to strike, and you do not need to retaliate. Your presence, your endurance, and your measured responses create outcomes that prove every plot against you will not succeed. Peace and authority coexist in you, a perfect combination that secures victory without compromising integrity. This is the demonstration of heaven's orchestration through those who walk in quiet strength and unwavering trust. Beloved, the quiet around you is not absence, it is acknowledgement. The same calm that once made you seem reserved now signals authority. Revelation has taken root in your life, and the mantle you carry is more than symbolism. It is the living, breathing expression of God's trust in you. You have passed the trials of patience, silence, and discernment, and through each moment of restraint, your character has been refined. Revelation 4 verse 3 paints a picture of authority and radiance, showing that what you wear is more than a garment. It is a testament to the one who placed it upon you. The jasper and sapphire of heaven's design rest upon your spirit, a reminder that you are chosen to operate in fullness, not hesitation. The season of smallness is behind you. The mantle you bear has expanded, and its weight is not burden, but empowerment. Matthew 16 verse 19 declares that the keys of the kingdom are in your hands. They are not idle tokens, they are tools, instruments through which alignment, restoration, and order are released. Each moment you practiced restraint, every act of measured silence prepared you to wield this power without compromise. You were never meant to blend in. Your purpose was always to stand as a carrier of